Hello. So this is a tutorial for Nightporter by Japan. I'm just going to do a little demo of the initial bit. So you've got okay, so that's the first bit, and it then goes into another pattern, which is part of the verse pattern. So let's start off by looking at that intro. So I'm going to start off with the left hand. You've got could I ever explain this feeling? That comes after, but yeah, this is just the intro bit at the very beginning. So you've got it's exactly the same as that part. So you've got A minor basically. So we're playing the root note of A minor, A down here. Here's middle C for reference. Okay, so bass C, middle C, bass C, A, and then you're playing part of an A minor chord. So you get ready for your A minor in position. So 5, 3, 1, and you're playing 1, 3 on E and middle C. So that's the first pattern, down to the E, and then we do an E minor chord as middle C. Okay, 5, 3, 1, and then you do the same again, and then we start with the right hand. But when you do that with the left hand, you're going to be playing A and just the A minor chord. So keep doing that until the very last line. So right hand for that part. Start with the A above middle C. So we're going up to the D. We play all these notes. We go up and we go down in between A and D. That's essentially what we're doing. So A, B, C, D, C, B. And start with finger 1 on the A. 1 finger per white note. And then the next part. A, B, C, D, C, B. So. And then you do the same again. And then this time we're going to play B, G, finger 1. You're going to shift position slightly. And it's probably easiest to just bring the finger over to the 2 on the E. So I'll play that whole thing in the right time. I'll slow it down a bit. And there's a round of dum, and then you repeat. Same thing as before. And you repeat again. And this time we go up to the F, F-E on the end. Okay? So together with the left hand for that part. So. Okay, so playing that together. You're playing together with that chord. Okay? And then when you play C, you're playing the E down here, bass note, root note. And then when you're playing the B, you're playing the A. Back to the C together with the root note. B, playing with the chord. B and A together. G and E, and then we do the same again. And then the next part is, now this is the same in both of the other verses, so there's 3 verses altogether, and in the intro as well, actually. So this is the end of the intro. You're going to, the chords are, you're going F, yeah, so F bass note, root note, whatever you want to call it, root note, to F major chord, to the E minor chord again, yeah, and then down to, so C to C, and then hopefully you can see that, B to B minor, and then you go back into the pattern. Okay. Yeah, so right hand for that bit. So I'd start with 1 on the F, above middle C, 1, and then 2 on the A, 3 on the B, 4 on the C, and then back down, and then play G with 1. Yeah, so that's the next part. So, and then hop up. You're doing kind of B minor chord, actually. 1 on the B, 2 on the D, 4 on the F sharp, up to the G. And I would reach over, actually, with finger 3 to the D here. 2 on the B, so that you're ready to start with the A again. Hope that makes sense. So together with that pattern, yeah, so you're starting with together with the chord, and then when you play the B, playing the E, and again you're playing with the chord, which sounds kind of weird and it's nice, and then you're going down to B minor. Ah, yes, sorry, I forgot to say, actually, I think you can sort of get away with the B minor chord, but actually I'm hearing a D in here, which makes a kind of 7 chord. Yeah, so playing the F sharp together with the D, and then you're back into the okay, so yeah, so for the verse, you do exactly the same. For the 3 verses, you do exactly the same as the intro. The only difference is that you, obviously the vocals are a bit different for each one, and also you've got a double measure of that end part to the verse. So sorry. Yeah, you repeat the whole, that section basically. Yeah, so I'll just demonstrate. You've got wonder again, my clothes they hurt, shy from the rain, and then longing to touch all the places we know we can hide. That's all this pattern. Oh, sorry. The width of a room. This is the same bit for this bit as well. So you repeat it. Okay, so the parts at the end of the verse, you've got basically you're playing the pattern 4 times. Yeah, that pattern. And then you're doing something, yeah, slightly different, both of those bits. So it's basically the bit that's after the fear in my heart that keeps telling me which way to turn. And you're straight into the that next bit. So I'll just show you the right hand for that section. So yeah, so you're going straight into it's after that bit. Basically, you've played that. So the first bit. So finger 4 on the E, to the C, finger 2, 1 on the B, back to the E, C, A, E, stretch 1 down to the G to the E, and then you've got a switch fingering to finger 4, da, 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 C, B, A, E, G, 1 and 2, and then you're back up to the 3 on the C, C, A, D, E. So that whole bit played together. Okay, and together with the right hand and left hand. So okay, and the next bit, yeah, you just done the inside, and it kind of goes straight in from inside. Yeah, so da 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 da. Yeah, G B A. So E C B C B. Switch position. G1. Okay. Okay, and then. Which is really nice. G, C, A, finger 2, and then stretch with finger 5. E, D, C, B, E. And then, sorry, kind of A minor version. E, A, C, and then an E minor. Yeah, so 1 on G, 2 on B. And together. Okay, and then a kind of inversion. And then you're going into the chorus. Here am I alone again. So this is all in, there's a lot of minors. So you're going D minor. So I'll do the left hand. I feel like there's more going on in the right hand, which perhaps I'm not going to go into too much. I'm just going to try and do a quicker version of this because here am I, A minor, alone. And I do sometimes hear that D sort of, which would make it 7, but let's go for B minor. Alone again. B minor. Right, so that's the pattern. And you repeat that twice. A quiet time where life begins. And then here am I, just having a blank. And then I'm hearing sort of Nightporter's gone. Kind of inversions, I think. So A, D, F, D minor, to the E minor, B, E, G. Nightporter's. So then you go from C to the B minor and then do. So B, F sharp, and then you're back into there. Yeah, right hand. So the right hand for this bit, I'm not hearing it doing too much, which is a bit of a relief, isn't it? So I think one way of getting around actually doing those here, you could do it differently actually. So you could do D, and then you could add in the right hand, because I don't think it's got much to do otherwise. So here, so that's one thing that happens now and again. So and then same again. And then when you've got the Nightporters go, you kind of play with the tune. So Nightporters go, Nightporters slip away, ending on the F sharp. And then you're back into it again. So I think that's the best I can do for now. The outro, you're basically, yes, you are doing there's some other stuff which is a little bit hard to hear, but basically you're doing that you keep on with that pattern. And then there's some other synth part of it. Sorry, I'm forgetting a really important bit. After you've got Nightporter slip away the first time, you've actually got a really lovely instrumental. So I'm just going to show you the right hand for speed reasons. So that's the first bit, starting on A. Okay. And then, okay, E, C, A, C, G. There's the next bit. So you're singing in A minor kind of position. C, E, C, E, B, D, A. It's just a C, G at the end. And then, and this is a really nice little bit. So, 2 on the A, 1, and then you've got a G chord to the A minor inversion. Okay, and then E minor chord, and then an E minor inversion, B, E, G. Okay, I'll try and do that together. Do a bit slower. Okay, bit to that section. Yeah, E, G, A, C, G. Okay, and then you've got the same as you do for the. You've got that bit again, basically, right after that.